This is the 2018 United Rentals collector set. It's made by First Gear, and I think it's in 1/32 scale. Normally First Gear makes everything in 1/34 scale, but this is just a little bit bigger, which makes me think it's 1/32. Now United Rentals every year tends to make their collector sets just a little bit better, and I think this year is certainly no exception. It's a pretty good set. You have an International LT tractor. You have a really nice Ledwell Ramp trailer. You got a Case 750M Dozer, and you have a Club Car Carryall, utility vehicle or whatever you want to call it. Now, I think it's kind of interesting that they included the Club Car here, because you see so many of these things on job sites now. Yeah, maybe not the Club Car, but just the utility vehicle, or the Gators, the Kubotas, all that stuff. And one of the reasons for that is so many times now the jobs are set up so that you have like a contractor staging area over here in one corner of the property. Then you have, everybody over here working on the actual site. And sometimes it can be a pretty far distance between where your staging lot is, where you have your sea containers or your office trailer or whatever, and then even beyond that, where the parking area is. You can have a lot of distance to cover on some of these sites, and so having one of these little utility vehicles on site makes a lot of sense. And a lot of places I go to, you'll see 5, 10, 12 of these things just running around, just ferrying guys and tools and whatever materials back and forth. Superintendents always have one, and I think it's quietly become something that rental companies make a lot of money over, just because one of these things will go out on a rental for if it's a commercial or an industrial job, it could be out for 2 years on rental. It comes back, you sell it, and you buy a new one, and then it's just, like I said, I think rental companies make a lot of money on these things. So anyway, if you take a look underneath, I think that's right side up. It's hard to see. It is made by First Gear, and it's mostly plastic. There's not a whole lot to it. It's pretty lightweight, but it's not bad. It certainly looks the part. I mean, it's not exactly a very complex piece of machinery as it is. Underneath is pretty basic. There's no steering or anything like that. You do have some springs on the back here, but they don't work. They're just decorational. And you look inside, you have the steering wheel and the pedals and all that. You got the little seat belts here, which is cool. And you do have a working dump bed. Actually tilts up, and you got this teeny tiny little tailgate that opens up, which is adorable. And so anyway, that's it. It's for such a simple little thing, it's actually pretty good. And of course, you have the United Rentals stickers all over it, because you can't have a United Rentals set without the stickers. So anyway, that's that. And then you got the Dozer here, the Case 750. This thing it's a little disappointing. Sitting on the shelf, it doesn't look bad. The rubber tracks are gaudy. At this point in time, with all the other model manufacturers, almost everybody doing metal tracks, it's a little gaudy to see rubber still made. And I understand that, these things have to be sold at a certain price point. You really don't ever see these things over $100, from United Rentals at the time. And I understand. If they put metal tracks on this, it would probably push a set over $100, and if that's not what they want the set to be sold at, then that's up to them. It's what they're going to do. I think if this had metal tracks on it, it'd be a much better model. But like I said, overall it's pretty simple. Function-wise, it's simple, but it really does display well. The paint and the graphics are all really good. The Case Eagle on the hood is really nice. United Rentals logos everywhere look good. You got the warning labels here on the side panels. The cab interior is very good. The lights and everything. The fuel cap, I mean, it just looks really good. The paint and the decals and everything are really good. The blade, however, leaves a lot to desire. It goes up and down most of the way. And it looks like it tilts, but it does not. It is fixed in place. Underneath, there's nothing Nothing going on there. And you can see again, it's made by First Gear. It is mostly plastic. There's not a lot of weight to it at all. The blade is plastic. A lot of the side panels here are plastic. The frame is metal, and the track rails are metal. That's about it. Most of it is plastic. So it's nice to have a case dozer or any dozer in 1/32 scale. That's cool, but yeah, it could be better. Now, as far as the truck and trailer go, the truck is nice. The trailer is fantastic. As far as the truck goes, it's a decent truck. It's really heavy. Like, it's surprisingly heavy. The cab's all metal. You can see a little bit of the cab interior there. The windows are up. The doors don't open. But it looks pretty good, though. The paint's good. The decals are nice and sharp. Headlights and everything, the grill, they all look pretty good. You don't have any chains in the headache rack, which would be cool, but again, you know, I think the sets are only supposed to cost so much. Underneath, you have some pretty good detail, the driveline, airbags and all that, the transmission, the motor. The hood doesn't open up. So it's like I said earlier, it's a First Gear truck, but it's not quite the same First Gear quality that you're accustomed to seeing. It's just a little bit simpler than what you normally get out of a First Gear truck, which is a little bit disappointing because it's First Gear, but at the same time it's United Rentals, so there's a little bit of a trade-off. Overall, it looks pretty good on the shelf. Yeah, I certainly can't complain about it. It does look the part. It's kind of neat that it does have the some guys call it the side step mirror, some people call it the curb mirror. It's neat that it has that on there. Most of the trucks that I've driven have not had that mirror. And it's kind of funny because every once in a blue moon, I'll drive a newer truck that does have that mirror. And I've never once looked out this window to look in that mirror and actually seen what it points at. I have no idea. You know, I don't normally look at it. So when I have it, I never look at it. Just kind of a funny tidbit there. Now, moving on to the trailer. The trailer is fantastic. It's a Ledwell Ramp trailer. And it looks pretty good. I love the painted steel wheels. You have some chains and binders up here. They're all fixed in place, but they look really good. You got your winch up here, which is, again, fixed in place, but it looks good. You got some nice detail running down the side of the trailer. The paint is good, the decals are good, everything's nice and crisp. You got the nice Ledwell logo there. And you got room for the tag on the back. Everything's really pretty good. It's surprisingly heavy. But what's really nice is the functionality of the trailer. The ramp on the front of the deck actually works. It's a little stiff, but it does actually work. I promise you it does. There we go. So that actually pops up like it should. So you have the entire length of the trailer that you can work with if you had to load something long or you had to load a dozen different things on here. And you do have the cylinders underneath that you can see. You can see just barely in the frame there. And the frame is complete too, which is also very cool. And then on the back side here, you can see you have the cylinders for the ramp or dovetail, whatever you want to call it. And it does work the way it's supposed to, where it'll come up just enough so you can flip the bottom of the ramp out and then come back down. And it see if I can get this thing on there. There we go. It does actually come down and work like it's supposed to, which is cool. I think for such a simple little thing, I think it's a really cool detail to have, that it actually works. Now, by comparison, this is, let's see, I think this is the 16th set they've done. If you go back to the 10th set, this is what you have. And they more or less tried to do the same thing here with what's kind of supposed to be a Ledwell trailer slash lowboy slash double drop. It's kind of weird. And you have essentially the same truck. I can't remember if that's supposed to be like a Workstar or what. But you have basically the same setup made by two different manufacturers, and they are completely different. I mean, you could not get any further of a difference between the two. Just looking at it, you can see the size of the wheels on the trucks are completely different. The lengths are different, which, you know, it might be real. You could have that frame difference, but this is way too short just to, yeah, just for starters. It's too short. The cab itself isn't terrible, but the rest of the truck is just largely awful. And the trailer is just an abomination. You can see how much bigger the trailer is. And like I said, it looks like it's supposed to be a lowboy on this end, but at this end, you have that sort of that Ledwell Ramp trailer attempt that doesn't work at all. It's just it's terrible. So anyway, it's kind of neat to see it side by side when you think of what it was like, you know, from 6 or 7, 8 years ago, however many years it was, to what they have now is a vast improvement. And like I said, the price point, if you go to United Rentals, there's something like $80 or $90. I think they have a little bit of leeway in what they charge for these things. If you go to United Rentals all the time, they'll probably cut you a deal. If you never go there, they'll probably just tell you it's, you know, $92 or whatever the retail is. And or if you rent from them all the time, you might just get it for a Christmas gift, you know, in the mail. Hey, thanks for spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars with us. Here's a $92 truck. But anyway, that's, you know, that's how it is. It's you know, it's what they say at Christmas time. It's the thought that counts. And if I was spending money at United Rentals and the salesman showed up one day with one of these, I'd be pretty happy. But that's just me. So anyway, that's about it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask. If you have anything you'd like to see, let me know. I might just have it. And as always, thanks for watching.